What if I was wrong all along? What if my trust in, what if my identification with, what if my belief in paddling upstream as a justification for my existence? I am working so hard. Don't you see me? I am justified. I earned it. What if that identity is incomplete? What if that identity needs to be tempered by occasionally turning the boat downstream and taking my paddle out of the water and just going with the flow? You see, I like going upstream. I like that sense of earning it, achieving it, accomplishing it. I like to climb mountains. I like it. But sometimes you got to recognize swimming upstream, paddling upstream is just not the right direction. I was on a roll earlier tonight. Did not expect to cut this episode in two, but here we are. Welcome to the Rated Rabbi Sports Card Podcast, where sports cards and pop culture meet the 1984 All-Star Game. I am your host, Rabbi David Spinrad. Welcome to episode 55. Just Say No, part 2. Right around the introduction, right after my opening monologue, I started to have some weird audio problems. My audio cut out altogether, lost my good mic, was going to the internal mic, and I started getting distracted. Those AV problems got in my way, and I started looking at the clock. Tonight, I was taking our son to the high school basketball game. It was rec league basketball, youth league basketball night at the high school game. We live 2 seconds of really like a 5-minute walk from Alexandria City High School, the formerly named TC Williams High School. TC, of course, is the high school from, remember the Titans, Denzel Washington, Coach Boone, based on a true story. A few years ago, they made the decision, our city fathers and mothers, our school district, to no longer call TC Williams High School TC Williams. TC was the superintendent when the high school was integrated into the 60s, early 1970s. And as I've been told, TC was a bit of a segregationist, allowed for integration of the black and white high schools. And in return, he got the high school named after him. If you know a different story, let me know. That's just what came down to me. So I was having a bunch of audio problems, and I started looking at the clock, and it was scratching. I started getting distracted, and I took my paddle out of the water, turned around, pointed that little boat downstream, and shut it off. Took my boy to the ball game. What's really cool is AC, the Alexandria City High School basketball court, is named Earl Lloyd Court. Who is Earl Lloyd? Earl Lloyd is the first African-American basketball player in the NBA, just by a little while. Sweetwater Clifton is also in that 1957 top set, but the first NBA player, first African-American in the NBA. Earl Lloyd has a really cool 57 tops. Definitely, he's a hometown hero from Alexandria. Definitely got to get that card in my collection. For now, I have a really neat giveaway card from the Alexandria Black History Museum. It's like a oversized business card that I'm showing folks here on the channel. Earl Lloyd, 1957 tops. Very, very tough to find a centered one of these, but I will. There's a really cool statue of Earl Lloyd at the rec center in Old Town, and kind of cool. I definitely got to get that one. Super fun watching high school basketball. So I'm back. Put the boy to bed. Episode 55. Just Say No, part 2. We're in the commercials. like the third commercial at the commercial break between the bottom of the fifth and the top of the sixth. Up pops this one. I'm going to describe it for you on the podcast. It is a commercial for the Apple Macintosh. This is the first successful all-in-one personal computer. What are you looking at? You're looking at a mouse, a really cool external mouse. This is the first mouse. This is the first interactive monitor with video graphics. It cost about $2,500 in 1984. It was released, if you remember, January 24th, 1984. Cost $2,500, equivalent of about $7,000 today. You might remember the commercial created by Ridley Scott aired during the Super Bowl. Man, it was that 1984 take a stab at Big Brother, right? IBM, Big Blue. How did Apple, how did they market themselves? A computer for the rest of us. They really focused on a user-friendly experience. If you're watching on the channel, you see that little tiny book of instructions. Previously in the commercial with an IBM, they dropped a big stack of instruction books. The whole thing about Apple was user-friendly. And we're the other guys, right? Their computer, their tagline right here was called "A Computer for the Rest of Us," right? We're going to conquer the big guy and we're the little guy, even though now we're like Apple Computer. They don't get much bigger than Apple. Man, want to do a little dive into Steve Jobs while we're at it, since we're talking Macintosh. I'm going to show you a card. This is hang on. So 2011 Tops, what is that? Tops Americana set. Super cool. Picture of Steve Jobs on the night they released the Apple Macintosh, 1984. There he is, bow tie, posing over the Macintosh. His 1980s on the bottom. Apple Macintosh released. Let me read from the back for you. 2 days after one of history's most memorable Super Bowl commercials provided a final reminder of its approach, the Apple Macintosh went on sale January 24th, 1984. Its affordability and ease of use made it an instant hit. Indeed, in 1984, they sold 250,000, which doesn't sound like a lot, but who had a PC, who had a computer at home in 1984? The device was the first commercially successful personal computer to feature a mouse and to employ, as I said, a graphical user interface. 2011 Tops Steve Jobs. Such an awesome card. I wanted to show you that one for months and months and months. Macintosh computer commercial just about to end, and I'm like, I gotta do something else on Steve Jobs. It's too big to do nothing, but also too big to do everything. So did you know that Steve Jobs is one of the creators of the Atari 2600 Breakout? Remember that yellow box pictured on the screen, game program instructions, and the original cartridge? Man, this was a cool game. And what's really cool is if you look at the Breakout stick or Breakout box in the top right-hand corner, there's a Long's Drugs Breakout. I mean, a Long's drug price tag. And my dad used to totally take me to Long's to look at the Atari games and sort of like the photo video section behind the counter. And they had the games. And man, that's amazing. I just noticed that Long's drug sticker right there. So cool. So Steve Jobs, one of the co-creators, along with Steve Wozniak, his partner with Apple, and of course Bushnell, the founder of Atari, also gets a credit on the Breakout game. What's really cool about Breakout, really significant, it's actually the very first game that doesn't exist. What I'm trying to say is previously in a game like Pong was back and forth, and you need the players. But there were actually little bricks that would disappear. They didn't. There was no existence to them. Once you destroyed them, they were gone. That's I'm like, what? Really? Who cares? No, like that was the first time they had that. What else can I tell you about Breakout other than I crushed it? Gall was more of like a little Breakout, some other computer knockoff thing. I like Super Breakout. Oh my God. Little paddle. Remember that paddle, the Atari 620, 600? So Jobs co-creates this with Wozniak. They're supposed to get paid what is it? It's $500. $500 from Atari for the coding. And the thing is, they were also supposed to get a $7,000 bonus if they could create a game that was under 50 chips. Woz created this game in 43 chips, $7,000 between the two of them, except Steve Jobs screws Wozniak and doesn't tell him about the bonus. All Woz gets is $250 for Breakout, and Jobs keeps the $7,000 bonus for himself. It's all true, man. Oh my gosh. All right, where are we? We've done a little commercial for the Apple Macintosh, a computer for the rest of us. Flowing downstream, what's the next commercial? Just say no. Local ad, ABC TV, a bumper just as we're coming out of the break. Just say no. Man, did they beat this into my head. Just say no. Drugs will kill you. And you know what? Yeah, some of them absolutely will. Heroin, yup, yucky. Don't do heroin. Like you need me to tell you that. Cocaine, stay away. It's the big lie. Marijuana is debatable, right? We'll talk about it offline. Not sure if it deserved to be a Schedule 1 drug along with heroin and with cocaine. Not sure if it's true to say that it has no benefit at all. A lot of doctors feel differently. I know my mom was dying of cancer. It helped her with her pain, helped her with her nausea, helped her with her appetite. So just say no, maybe to some, and just say no in certain circumstances. Just say no. It's like, yeah, it's that easy. Who was the queen of just say no, right? The godfather, of course, was Richard Nixon, 1971, 1972, decided to make the drug problem enemy number one. Sometimes he gets unfairly branded. I know one of the former members of his administration said it was strictly a way to go after blacks and hippies. And hey, man, there was a lot of racism. They were very against the left. However, if you actually do the dive into Nixon, when he called drugs enemy number one, he did at first see it as a health crisis. However, they allocated resources not to not to aid the users, right? With the understanding that for many people, it's a health crisis, right? They actually allocated resources for the sellers. Criminals. They focus on the crime instead of the health crisis. The prototype to the DEA is launched in 72. They're making drugs enemy number one. I'm not just going to say it's Republicans. Clinton in the 90s, he was the one strike and you're out guy. But man, before him, all those mandatory minimums, prison time for nonviolent drug offenders, right? Reagan really took it to the next level, right? Reagan understood, oh, this would be good for my election. And who did he sick on it most of all? There she is at RFK Stadium, standing next to Doug Williams, holding up a number one jersey. The First Lady herself on the back of the jersey. What is the jersey? What does the Redskin jersey say? Just say no. Nancy, man, she was very, and the drug she chose the most, the one she went on the hardest against was weed. She accused it of taking the dream from every child's heart. I went back and did a little research into the drug war from the 1980s and the way they communicated taking the dream from every child's heart. There was government literature about the pot problem. And they warned parents if your teenager was keeping late nights, if your teenager was making furtive phone calls, keeping late hours, furtive phone calls, forgetting to mow the grass, struggling in school, not giving you a birthday card, drugs, 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 drugs. Your kid is smoking a lot of pot. Just say no. It was everywhere. I remember there was this comic book called Teen Titans. Let me show you the little Teen Titans. Where is it? Where's my Teen Titans? Give me a second. I'm just going to show you the backside of the Teen Titan. It was the episode where they're trying to rescue a school from the scourge of drugs. Here's the back cover. There's a Teen Titans. The front cover is them carrying out a dead teenager, like a serious, scared straight comic book. The back cover, who is that in the top right-hand corner, friends? Well, that is none other than the head elf, E.L. Keebler, telling us, join the president's drug awareness campaign. Excuse me, Mr. Keebler. You're kind of trying to have those both ways. You're telling us to stay away from drugs. And yet, are you not profiting enormously from the munchies? Oh, Mr. Keebler, with your Cheez-Its and your Fudge Stripes, Keebler Elves, Fudge Stripes. I get a whole package of those things. Then what else? Vienna Fingers. Those are actually one of my mom's favorites. They were good, man. Yeah, Keebler. Yeah. Talking out of both sides of your mouth, man. Who else was telling us to stay away from drugs? We had, remember this one? It's Pee Wee Herman, 1987. What's he holding in his finger? Well, that's a vial of crack. It's all available for you online. I remember this commercial. He's in a darkened room. Spotlight comes down on Pee Wee Herman right hand. He's holding up a little vial of crack, and he says, "This is crack cocaine. And one hit of it can kill you." Yeah, you're right. Just was so weird. What else do we have? Oh my God. We had Rockers Against Drugs. Remember that in the 1980s? Rockers Against Drugs. Do a little research. Learn for yourself. Belinda Carlisle from the Go-Go's. She's like lying on the beach in this like oversized man's jacket, waves behind her. And what else? She's coked out of her mind doing a commercial for Rockers Against Drugs. Rad. Just say no. Or as this guy would call it, Sam Kinison, Rockers Against Drugs. He said, wasn't that kind of like Christians against Christ? Oh, man. Sam Kinison, gone too soon. Oh, I got to bring us back there because I'm not done with Nancy Reagan because, Nancy's Just Say No Apex Mountain was none other than her appearance on Diff'rent Strokes, Diff'rent Strokes, Diff'rent Strokes will rule the world. 1983, the First Lady on Diff'rent Strokes, and they're having a moment Saturday night, 8 o'clock. Oh, you better bet Dave and Mark Spinratter gather around the TV to watch What You Talking About, Willis. There she is in the classroom. She asked, they're like 10, 11 years old, and she's like, how many of you have been offered drugs? And like all these hands shoot up. Crazy, man. I don't know if it was really like that way, like the whole classroom like getting pushed drugs. Anyway, Nancy's in there in her classic red dress. That's a Nancy Reagan color, man. I got a Nancy Reagan card to show you. You want to see it? Of course you do. 2008, Nancy and Ronald Reagan, first couple of the United States of America, 1981 to 1989. They were married March 4th, 1952. A lot of text on the back. I'm just going to give you this one. Former actor whose new role would include running a nation, Ronald Reagan had an exceptional supporting actress in that task. Nancy threw herself into many charity causes, fought drug and alcohol use among young people, etc. Kind of a cool card. The Nancy top left, Ronnie bottom right. Married, hometown Santa Barbara, California, the first couple 1981 to 1989. Just say no. It didn't really work. Didn't really work. It was not really effective. Scared us. Didn't really work though. Certainly didn't work for the characters on Different Strokes. I'm gonna bring this picture back up. Let's start with Gary Coleman. I mean, Gary Coleman was so big. That character, that cute, adorable little black boy who has some strange disease that keeps him from growing. He was so big that there's an off-brand Gary Coleman, Emmanuel Lewis, right? He's like the what was that, Webster? Yeah, Webster is like the Aldi's version of Arnold. Go to Aldi's. Do you have a Different Strokes? No, we have a Webster. Oh, okay, okay, that's good. It's it's close. Oh man, we know these guys. We know there's a Different Strokes curse. First card I'm showing you. Oh, it's numbered. Was not expensive. 2008 Donruss Playoff 40 number 44 out of 500 serial numbered baseball Americana. Let me put that up on the screen. You deserve to see that. Hang on. Let's remove that. Beautiful. There he is. Light little mustache. This picture was used in a few different cards. Baseball Americana. I don't know why Gary Coleman is in the set, but the price was right. Coleman struggled. A lot of money problems, a lot of marital problems, a lot of health problems, had some drug problems, had some prescription addiction problems, tried to commit suicide. Sad story, man. All right, 3 child stars, and we are 0 for 1 on Well Adjusted. And you know what? He died young. He died tragically. His story may be the least tragic of the 3, although our second one does make a comeback. Todd Bridges, what you talking about, Willis? This is a 2011 Donruss Americana, non-numbered Todd Bridges. What's cool though is Todd Bridges actually makes a comeback. He gets sober. Remember an episode where Willis wants to be cool, and what he does is he scores some pot and he smokes it. I remember that scene. But in real life, he started smoking weed when he was 15 years old. A lot of hard drug problems, alcohol, crack cocaine, crystal meth, was uh, accused of attempted murder, was not convicted. Real sad, man. Really fell on some hard times. But as I said, there were 3 teen stars, and neither Gary Coleman nor Todd Bridges are the saddest of all. That is, of course, reserved for Dana Plato. Oh my God. Dana Plato, Dana Plato, Dana Plato. So just beautiful and sweet and not adjusted. Was a sheltered child from her mom, was a child star, and didn't really work out for her. Had a lot of drug problems from an early age. Uh, Tried to rob a video store, did rob a video store with a pellet gun. Just super, 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 super sad. As she struggled, she went on. She did some softcore pornography in a softcore porn. One I remember, not that I saw it, I did the research, called Diff'rent Strokes. Because if you remember, Diff'rent Strokes was just DIFF apostrophe. They avoided the trademark violation. Did some softcore porn. You might remember her also. 1989, posing Dana Plato did in Playboy. I've got one of the pictures up there on the screen. This is a family-friendly show, even though we're kind of dipping our toes in the rated R material tonight. So she's fully clothed. So beautiful. Dana Plato, 1989 in Playboy. That didn't end well for Dana Plato, as I said. She It was thought that she OD'd. It's actually believed now, and looking back, in the drugs she took and the quantities and the conditions that unfortunately she took her own life. So Dana Plato, yes, you should have just said no. It's the curse of facts of life. Charlotte Ray and Conrad Bain seem to escape it. Okay, what else do I got here? I got another card for you, right? Just Say No was not just celebrities, not just rockers, not it was also athletes. Oh my God, there's an 87 Lakers video about Just Say No music video. It's horrible. If you want to see short shorts, tight tanks, total like pastel late 80s colors, terrible rapping, go find this 1987 LA Lakers do a Just Say No video. One last one. I'm going with an unlicensed Joe Montana card. We don't know when it is, but take a look at unlicensed. What's it say? Bottom right hand corner, it's got that circle with the lines through it. It says no drugs. Joe Montana, unlicensed card. Some renegade made a Just Say No card of Joe Cool. Backside says show leadership like Joe. Learn to just say no. Remember Joe, a couple of drug rumors through his career. 1982, it said that Niners slumped after winning that first Super Bowl. 81 season, 82 game, 82 Niners strike year, finished 3-6. A lot of drug rumors floating around. No one really named Montana, but it was there, it was unknown. Remember, socially acceptable, Northern California, 1980s. You're a young man, Super Bowl winning quarterback. 1985, also drug rumors coming out, never substantiated. There's a rumor that it was like this interesting intersection of drugs and race, because what people were saying was there were 3 NFL quarterbacks who had failed drug tests, and each of the quarterbacks was white, and the NFL wasn't going public because they were white. Never substantiated, never fully refuted either. I'm just here to present the news. All right. Looked at a lot of cards today, didn't we? Man, for a shorter episode, we looked at the Steve Jobs introduces the Apple Macintosh. Looked at the Nancy Reagan card posing. Nice card, Topps card, her and Ronald Reagan. Then we looked at cards of Gary Coleman, cards of Todd Bridges, an unlicensed card of Joe Montana. I showed you sort of a business card thing from the Black History Museum at the start. Picture of Earl Lloyd, 1957 Topps. Got to have that card someday. You may have noticed, for those watching, that I am wearing a Niners jersey. Not just any Niners jersey. I am wearing my number 13 Brock Purdy Niners jersey. I'm not just wearing any number 13 49ers Brock Purdy jersey. I am wearing a lucky. This is my lucky Brock Purdy 49ers jersey. How you say this jersey I am wearing? This is why the Niners won the game last night. Follow this. I have a couple of jerseys I rotate. I got a Bosa, and I've got a red Bosa throwback 97. Love it, but it doesn't perform on Sundays. The Niners have lost some big games. Those 2 championship games, they lost 2 consecutive. And they lost lost to the Rams, and they lost last year to, help me somebody. I try to forget the losses. The Rams were 2 years ago. Oh, last year was that curb stomping. They knocked all the quarterbacks out, the Eagles. And I was wearing Bosa jerseys both times. And I kind of wear it here and there. It's inconsistent. But this Purdy jersey, a gift from Stenell, my dad, got it for me at the start of the season. I'm undefeated in it. The Niners always have won when I wear this jersey. I haven't worn it every time, but they've never lost. And I wore it last week in the playoffs against Green Bay. I'm like, I'm not superstitious. This week I'm going to wear the Bosa. Darn it, I am superstitious. Halftime, Niners trailing, right? 24-7, go into my bedroom. Sorry, Nick Bosa. Sorry, 97. Put it back in the closet, put on my Purdy, and the rest is history. So I'll be wearing this 2 weeks from last Sunday. Oh my goodness. You know what I love about this jersey? It's one of those cheap knockoffs from China. They're good. They get you like 90% of the way there, right? For about 25% of the cost. So thank you, Stenell. I love this jersey. It's kind of funny though. Like the numbers on the front are a little bit too small. I have a Tim Lincecum 55 jersey from when the year with the World Series patch 2010, but also this weird patch that the New York Giants wore back in the 50s. Like it's a strange Chinese detail they added. So nevertheless, I love this jersey. I don't care where it came from. I don't care if it violates the license. This bad boy's lucky, and I'm going to wear it in Super Bowl 58 because that's the kind of nerd I am. Did pick up one card, don't have it yet. Added it just last night. 2023 Prism Nick Bosa, gold prism out of 10. Always collecting golds out of 10 of Nick Bosa. Not just any card, but definitely the prism gold out of 10. 2023. I'll show that when I got that. What do I want to end on? I want to end on what I did not buy. Remember on part one when I was talking about those cards when I sat down and just collapsed? I didn't buy them. Did not buy that 1971. I got it up on the screen. 1971 Rookie Stars outfielders, left to right, Dusty Baker, Tom Bashork, and Don Baylor. Tough card to find center. This one's center. It's still for sale, but I'm just say no. Top left-hand corner. That's the other one, Bruce Bochy. Guy sent me a great deal on it. Somebody else bought it. And again, just say no. Two more that I did not buy in the past week. Bottom left-hand corner, 2023 Prism Gold Vinyl George Kittle out of 5. Such a cool card. But again, would love it if I had endless money. I'd love to have cards like this in my collection, but I got to just say no. As a matter of fact, I sold my 2020 George Kittle Kaboom PSA 9. Figured lots of eyeballs, lots of heart on the Niners right now. Decided to sell it. Right? Got to make tough decisions. Got to get that Ruth, the red one. Last card I did not buy. I'm trying to figure I need some kind of Curry for the PC. This one was a real possibility, but I decided to just say no. 2014 Panini Prism. 2014-15, of course, is when the Warriors won their first title with this incredible team. That is the blue prism out of 99. Yeah, I could have bought it. PSA 9, fine. It's serial numbered. Would have been a great Steph Curry card. But I'm just holding. I'm just holding because these are the kind of cards, right? $100, $300, $400. They add up, and I could afford them, but they put me back on the sidelines, right? $100 here, $200 there. It adds up after a while, and I'm just saying no so I can just say yes to the 1939 Gaudy Babe Ruth card, 149 of the red one. Some guy on the Net 54 baseball forums tried to scam me tonight, man. I could tell he was scamming me. He gave me a price that was ridiculous. And then I came back. I'm like, wow, are you sure? That seems awfully low. I'm super into it. Would you mind sending me another picture that's coined, something with a photo ID and today's date? And then he came back like 43.50. I'm like, it's the same question I had from before. First, he's like, I saw it to you for, I think he said like 1,800 or 1,300. I'm like, dude, come on, man. You got to be a better scammer than that. If it looks too good to be true, if it seems too good to be true, it is too good to be true. And that is all for me. I am going to bed for the night. Thank you so much for tuning in to not one, but two episodes back to backers. Until we meet again, may you enjoy and be blessed with health and long life. So long for now.